Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ma. I live in UK and I grow my houseplant in semi-hydroponics. So I've noticed something. This is my Calathea trio star. So as you see, I have some folding leaves, which it's a sign of lack of humidity, right? But this plant, it's in my growing tent or growing shelf, which is covered. So the humidity is around 80% or 90 even. So I want to check the roots because I have an idea. And it's full of water as well, so sorry for the noise that I will make. Right, the pot is pretty big, okay? But the roots are pretty big as well. So what you'll see is, except a few leca pebbles that were attached to the roots, there were no leca pebbles in between the roots. So I've noticed with some of my plants that have this type of big chunky roots, I don't have any root rot or anything like that. It has some new roots, but only on the exterior of the plant, not on the interior where they didn't have any leca. If you see here, we don't have any new roots. There is no white roots here. So I think with plants that have a massive root system, you should chop it down. You should thin it out in order for the leca to go in between the roots, and so the plant has water everywhere distributed. Because if you will have a lot of roots like I have, and none of them, they are rotten, well, a few of them, few bits, but not too many. The roots are looking good, but they were like that, together, and the leca was around it. It was not in between them. So in this type of case, I would suggest, this is looking good because it has a lot of new roots, because they were on the exterior of the whole thing. So leca was covered them, but this one was not. It doesn't have any new roots at all. So I will chop the roots down. I will thin them out, and obviously I will let you know how that will work, because I've noticed that with a lot of my plants that have a big bulb of roots, if I don't try somehow to put leca in between all that root system, it will not do so well. So this is why she had such a big pot. But I think I will go 2 sizes down. I will put a smaller pot. Obviously I don't have a pot with me because, you know me, I'm well prepared. So I will put a small pot for this plant and really chop the roots. And it's not the first time that I'm doing this for the Calathea trio star. It's not the first time. I did it another 2 times, but the roots keep growing and growing. But I separated them because I didn't want to put them in a bigger container. So I have another one in the greenhouse, which is a covered shelf. It's not a greenhouse, but anyway, the humidity, it's quite big there. which is doing perfectly fine. So I think, well, I was thinking, you know, you have a lot of root rot. Usually, not a lot of root rot. You have some root rot when you convert a plant into semi-hydroponics because the roots are adjusting to the new environment, and some of them they are doing a good job in adjusting and some of them they don't. So I was thinking with the next plant that I will convert, I'll chop the roots off to see if that, not all the roots, but most of the roots. I have my autograph tree there and two peperomia that I already forgot how they are called. I put them on Instagram and someone told me the name, which was great, but I forgot how it's called, but I will put a tag with the name anyway. So I think I will try with that. It's difficult, it's more difficult to convert peperomias because the roots are so fine, and yeah, I think I will do that, and that will be for our next video. We will take the peperomias out from the pots and we will wash the roots as best as I can. I left them to dry because I want to dry the compost first. It's easier to remove, and I'll make a video about that and we will see how they will go. So just to leave just a few roots for the plant to be able to suck the nutrients, not all of them. So I will cut, I think, more than no, more than half of the root. Well, we'll see how that will go. But yeah, don't be afraid to chop off roots because nothing will happen, nothing bad. Just when I will do the same with this one, even she has new roots, but I will try to choose the ones that didn't grow roots yet. So the ones that have roots along the, how is this called, along the root. So the ones that they have roots like that, I don't know if you can see them because they are really tiny. The one that are poking out roots, I will not cut, and I'll cut the rest of them. And I'll leave this with minimum root system. And let's see how it's going, because these, they were, I think they were 10 or 12 plants in a pot, and they were not doing great. As soon as I separated them and I put the little one in the greenhouse with the, I didn't chop her roots because they were tiny anyway, but she's doing great. All the leaves are like that. So they are not curled, they are not drying, they are not, we have to cut some leaves here because they are a bit, well, and this one, even if it's white. Anyway, yeah, I think I will do that, and I will keep you updated on this to see how it's working, because it's not the first time, as I saying, that I've cut her roots and I put it back, but because there were too many roots when you put the leca, and the roots are quite dense, so the leca will not go through, so it will go kind of around it. No matter how much you shake it, no matter how much you bang it, doesn't matter, the leca will not go through that. So you'll have moisture only on the outside of the roots, which I see it's a problem because the one that were outside, they have new growth, and the one that were not surrounded by leca have none, and the plant looks like not good, don't like it. I think I will just separate them because there are a few plants here that I'll just tear them apart and separate them and put them in a smaller pot. Don't forget do not forget, if the root system is really big, this pot, it's kind of okay. But you have to make sure that they have chunky roots, and the leca pebbles are going through all those roots, not the leca pebble, it's not sitting around the root, because that is not helping. That is not helping, and I've seen this with some of my plants. I can't give you another example right now. Well, the best example is with peperomias behind me in the black box. Because those roots are so fine, and when you wash them, they will stick all together, and basically you will put them all together in the leca, and they are not performing so well. I'm not so excited about my peperomias. They started to be, the leaves that are coming out, they are really small, they're not big, they're a bit crinkly because of the lack of calcium. I've put now calcium and magnesium CalMag in all of my reservoirs, even if always I've put with my nutrient solution Epsom salts, just pure Epsom salts without any flavor editings or things like that. You don't have to choose that, just plain Epsom salts. I always did that for my plants. They responded quite well to Epsom salts, especially after I repot them from compost to leca. That will diminish the stress, but I already told you that several times now. So I'll chop the roots, and I'll find a smaller container and put it in a smaller container, and to see how it's working. Because this trio star was doing fine when it was outside the greenhouse. It's not a greenhouse, but anyway, has an environment as a greenhouse, and my trio star was on this, oh, what way should I go? On this chest of drawer here. Chest doesn't have any drawers, it's just a chest. So she was there and she was doing fine for a while, but as soon as the roots start growing, well, some of them, she didn't like it anymore. So yeah, don't crowd too many plants in a pot, or, well, you can put more plants in a pot, but be careful of the root system. And if the root system it's way too big, just don't, because the leca can't go in between the roots, and they can't take the nutrients at all. So yeah, I think I was clear enough. But I've noticed this problem, and I wanted for a while to check this, and I've noticed a few problems that we will talk about it in the next video as well. So anyway, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me at any time. I will make my best to answer you, because after my last semi-hydroponics video 3 part, whatever I did there, I had a lot of questions, and I think I'll take those questions and do another video, even if I've answered to those people that they asked me about it. But I don't think I explained the things right, or I don't know, I didn't do a good job explaining the things, so some of you didn't understand some things. So I will take those questions and make another video for you, so maybe that will answer more of your questions, hopefully. In the end, please don't forget about the pH. Please don't forget about the EC. They are the most important things in semi-hydroponics. Without them, we can't have healthy, big, lush plants. So please take care of those. Well, I will tell you another thing, because there are YouTubers that are saying that they don't measure anything, they don't measure pH, they don't measure AC, they don't measure anything, they just put everything. But I will tell you another thing, those YouTubers usually are using RO water, distilled water, and if you do a research in those, you will see that RO water or osmosis water, I think it's the same thing, I'm not sure. Anyway, if I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will correct me. Uh, Distilled water and osmosis water do not have EC, or if they have it, it's really tiny, small, like 40 or something. Rainwater, the same. The EC of the rainwater well in my area, it's 50, which is giving me a lot of space to put nutrients, because if I'm putting half of the recommended dosage on the nutrients pack, that will take me to 1000 EC. So you can't go wrong with that. So obviously, if you use that water, maybe you should measure the EC and the pH once, and that's it, because it's the same water and you will have to put same quantity of nutrients, calcium and magnesium and so on, to every water that you make, to every jar that you make, or however you store the water. So if it's rainwater, um, osmosis water or distilled water, yeah, that's the best thing to do, because you will give your plants a lot of nutrients and they can absorb them all. But if you use tap water like me, kind of difficult. And now when I decided to use rainwater in UK, it didn't rain for 2 weeks. Well, imagine that. Great, right? Right? That's too long already. Have a nice weekend. Please feel free to subscribe and to leave me a comment if you want to leave me a comment or ask me any questions. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, everyone. Bye.